Don't you just hate it when a videotape breaks? Although videotape is rugged material, occasionally it does get damaged. When that happens, you can either fix it or throw it away. Usually all it takes to fix most tapes is a simple cut and splice. If you think this weakens the tape, just watch. This much pressure would never be applied in the normal operation of a VCR. Even if it were, notice here that the tape splice held firm. Most of the damage you'll see will occur at the beginning or the end of a tape, usually just a broken leader. This is due to the additional stress placed on a tape during rewinding or fast-forwarding. The next most common type of damage occurs when a VCR eats a tape, or when a tape becomes entangled in the inner workings of a VCR. Sometimes it may be necessary to cut out a severely damaged section of videotape. Since videotape travels at approximately 1.31 inches per second in the 2-hour mode, 9.1 seconds of a picture is lost for every 12 inches of tape cut out. We don't recommend that you make a physical cut and splice in the middle of a tape. However, the alternative is that you throw it away. Only you can make that decision. Just remember, whenever you make a cut and splice in the middle of a picture, there will be static like this on the screen. The purpose of this program is to teach you and perhaps some of your employees how to make certain repairs to videotapes. In order to do that, you'll need to be familiar with certain terms. So let's get back to that glossary. The capstan, the spindle which operates in a VCR pulling the videotape at a constant speed. Chroma noise. The colors on the screen appear to be moving, usually most noticeable in reds. Control track, an electronic signal recorded on the edge of videotape that synchronizes the video heads. Dropout, usually is seen as a white or black line across the screen. This is caused by the tape not making contact with the video heads and can be caused by dust particles or lack of oxide coating on the videotape. This is not repairable. Dub, a copy of a tape, or to make a copy of a tape. Edge curl. This damage usually occurs on the edges of videotape. If the videotape is damaged on the top, the audio will be affected. If damage occurs at the bottom, the control track is affected. For that reason, it is advisable to store videotapes like this, so that the edges will not be affected by gravity. Edge curl is not repairable. Flagging or skewing. The top portion of the picture appears to lean to one side. It is caused by variations in the control track. This condition is not repairable. Flutter. Picture appears to jump or jitter. Also not repairable, although sometimes this may be adjusted out using the tracking control on the VCR. Head clog. Debris becomes lodged on the video heads and interferes with the reading of data on the tape. The signs are snowy picture or complete loss of signal. Helical scan. This refers to the diagonal path of the video signal recorded onto videotape. Leader tape. The clear portion of tape found at the beginning and end of most videotapes. The transparent nature of the tape allows the tape sensor lamp and light cell to sense the beginning or end of a tape to activate the stopping or auto rewind features. Noise refers to any interference in the TV signal, visual or audio. Scratches, places where the oxide has been removed from the videotape backing. This results in loss of picture, appearing as a solid line across your TV screen. This problem cannot be repaired. Shedding, a condition where the metal oxide comes off the backing and appears as flakes inside the cassette casing. Tapes so damaged should not be used as the risk of head clogs is likely. Tape end sensor, a photocell arrangement that tells the VCR when it has reached the end of the videotape. Tracking, the process by which the video heads are aligned properly to read the diagonally recorded video signals. VCRs have a control knob that allows the user to manually adjust the video heads. They need adjustment whenever there appears to be a band of static across the picture frame. Proper adjustment of the video heads can greatly improve picture quality. Video track, the band of electronic data recorded on videotape. All magnetic tapes have basically the same construction: a clear, smooth, tough polyester backing and a coating of magnetic oxide which records and stores the electronic signal. During the recording process, the video heads scan the tape and magnetically pass on the electronic data being received and altering the magnetic configuration of the videotape. During playback, the magnetic data is read by the video heads and translated into electronic data which is processed through the VCR and out to your TV. The video heads are mounted in a revolving drum 180 degrees apart. While turning at a speed of 1800 revolutions per minute, the drum moves the video heads across the tape in a diagonal path. The audio tracks are recorded at the top edge, the video signal in a diagonal path, and the control track along the bottom edge. This is the basic configuration of the signals recorded. In order to overcome any fear you may have in working with a video cassette, let's take one apart and then put it back together. Let's watch closely. We recommend that you wear cotton or latex gloves whenever handling videotape. This will minimize the oils from your fingers contaminating it, like this. To proceed with this portion, you'll need the following: a rewound blank or disposable tape with no labels or tamper-proof screws. We'll cover both of these later. A small Phillips head screwdriver, a sharp single-edged razor blade, clean, comfortable workspace, and perhaps a craft knife. This tape has been designed to allow you to follow along. You'll get the most benefit through practice. At times, we'll move along faster than you can. Just pause or stop your VCR until you catch up. You'll find it helpful to place all cassette parts down in the same relative positions as when they are assembled. Using the small, properly sized Phillips head screwdriver, remove the 5 screws holding the cassette together. Put these aside. Carefully hold the cassette together and turn it over so that the windows are up. Now, gently lift up on the top half of the cassette shell. It may be necessary to hold the bottom half down as you lift. Just to satisfy your curiosity, let's see what happens if you don't remove the top half first. Now that you know what not to do, let's go on. Take a close look at the way the tape is threaded through the guides and rollers inside the shell. Notice also that the bottoms of the plastic reels have teeth. Both are the same. This assembly alternately engages and disengages the teeth on the hubs. This spool lock release lever is activated automatically by a VCR whenever the cassette is in place, thereby releasing the tape for transport. While the teeth are engaged, the tape cannot become loose and entangled. This is how it looks on an assembled cassette. Many times during the repair of video cassettes, it will be necessary to manually release this gear assembly to allow you to pull out additional tape. There are only a few different parts to a video cassette. These circular pieces are called spools, reels, or hubs. The small plastic piece that attaches the tape to the spool is called a tape clamp. Leader tape is attached between the spool and recording tape. This, of course, is the videotape. Here is the anti-static release mechanism that prevents static electricity buildup that could damage the video image. The springs located in the top half are called spool springs. The spring that activates the opening and closing of the door is appropriately called the door spring. This is called a lock release, and these are left and right spool locks. The door release lever is here, and must be activated to open the door manually. There are guide pins, guide rollers, and guide posts. The only components of a cassette that are interchangeable among all brands of tape, regardless of the manufacturer, are the spools. There may be variations in the other parts. This is why we recommend replacing an entire shell as opposed to single components in order to ensure smooth operation. Now, let's lift out the spools containing the videotape. Once again, paying close attention to the tape path. The next parts we'll remove are the lock release and 2 spool locks. Next come the various guides. Let's take a look at the top now, and we'll remove the door assembly and the door spring. Most spools are glued together. This opening exposes the tape clamp, which simply slides off. Push a straightened paper clip into the small opening on the back side of the spool to remove the clamps. The assembly procedure is the reverse of the steps we've just made. Let's do it. Reapplication of the tape clamp is different. First, lay the leader tape across the channel and insert one edge of the tape clamp into position. Then, apply pressure down and inward, and the clamp will pop into place. Now, using a craft knife, carefully trim the excess leader. Next, we'll reapply the guide portions. We've opened another cassette and left it assembled for you to use as a reference as we proceed. The lever assembly is next. First the release lever, then the left and right spool locks. Then the spring. We have found that a toothpick works well to get at the small spring ends. Slip the spring onto the post, then place the ends into position one at a time. Now let's reassemble the door. First, replace the door spring, making sure to apply it correctly with tension. Slide spring onto post, hook into place, then lift the spring end into place. Usually there is a small slot that keeps this end in position. Then the door slides back into position. The door release assembly comes next. First, replace the release mechanism, making sure it is right side up. Notice how much easier this is because during assembly, we placed all pieces in the right relative position. Slide the door release spring back onto its post, then engage the ends one at a time. Replace the anti-static and tension adjusting device, and we are all set to complete the reassembly. Keeping a neat and clean workspace will help to spot any parts you might have forgotten. Set the right spool into position, and at the same time, slip the videotape between the roller pin and guide post. Be sure that the clear flanges are up at this point. Now carefully hold the next spool and grasp the videotape, and keeping it taut, lower the spool and videotape into position outside the guide post and between the guide pin and anti-static flap. Make sure that both spools are properly seated and that the teeth are engaged by the spool locks. Carefully open and hold the door in position and replace, guiding the posts into the tops of the guide posts. There are several interlocking posts that must match exactly. If you have trouble, look at the cassette cover from above and make sure you have aligned it exactly with the bottom half. Hold the cassette together and turn it over. Replace the 5 screws and you have it. Check the door release lock and door to see that they operate smoothly. Sometimes the plastic windows will come unglued. To repair this damage, you need to disassemble the cassette and use airplane or model glue to reglue it. There are several important factors regarding making a splice. To proceed with this lesson, you will need the following: a disposable tape, some splicing tape. We've included a few pre-cut splicing tabs for you to practice with, a splicing block and single-edged razor blade or a pair of scissors, and a small Phillips head screwdriver. In some cases, the broken tape will not be accessible without disassembling the cassette. After disassembly, pull out the ends of the tape. Carefully replace the cassette cover. After replacing the screws, hold the door open and insert a pencil here to keep the flap in the open position. It is important to trim the tape to be spliced evenly. We recommend a splicing block of this design, which allows you to make even cuts and at the same time holds the tape in position. Here is a view of a VCR loading tape. Notice how the tape is pushed against the rotating video head. It is the side making contact that has the oxide coating. You must always be careful to apply the splice to the other side. Remember, inside. That is, apply the splicing tape to the inside or the side closest to the hub of the spool. In this way, the splice will not be abrasive to the video head, and also it will hold much better. If your splices are pulling apart and have a dusty residue, you are applying the splice to the wrong side. First, we'll do a splice without the aid of an editing block. Position the damaged ends of the tape so that non-wrinkled areas overlap. Line up the edges so they are straight. Using a pair of scissors, cut. Then both ends will match. In a VCR, the tape sensor lamp works to activate mechanisms within the VCR. When it sees clear leader, it may activate an auto rewind or simply stop. This is why it is important to have an even cut. If there is a gap between the spliced ends, the tape sensor lamp may sense a false end to the tape and quit. Use something handy to weigh down the ends. We've used some film canisters. And push together until they are flush and properly aligned. Then, using a pre-cut splice, lift it from the backing from this side and align with one edge of the tape and lay it down in place. Use your fingernail to rub the splice down and ensure good adhesion. Then lift and peel here. Now we'll demonstrate the use of a type of splicing block which we recommend. This block has an adhesive backing which allows you to mount the block to your work area. We have chosen a small piece of foam core for this purpose. The machined surface and edges are designed to hold the tape in place while you work. Overlap the damaged ends and cut both layers at the same time. Discard the cut off ends and simply push the tape ends together. The block holds everything down while your hands are left free. Line up one edge of the splice to the edge of the block and lay it down into position. The aligned edges ensure an even splice. Rub the splice with your fingernail, lift the clear tab, and your splice is complete. You'll need the following for this lesson: a disposable tape with labels, a hairdryer, a single-edged razor blade. Basically, you have two choices when it comes to labels. You can cut them, or you can try to remove and replace them. To cut the labels, carefully use a sharp single-edged razor blade and slit the label along the seams where the cassette halves meet. Your second alternative is to try to remove the labels. This method will not work all the time, but if you want the labels to remain undamaged, it may be worth a try. Using a hairdryer, apply heat to the label. The warm air will partially melt the adhesive and allow you to pull it off. Don't be in too big a hurry. Give the heat a chance to work. Use the adhesive of your choice to reapply the label if necessary. Sometimes it will reapply without any additional glue. In early 1984, manufacturers began using tamper-proof screws in the construction of videotapes. Their intention was to prohibit tampering with the cassette's contents. There were reports that people were stealing the original spools and videotape and substituting a copy, which, of course, is illegal. Unfortunately, a side effect has been that those who want to make simple repairs to their own cassettes were prevented from doing so. Multivideo distributes specialty tools required to remove these tamper-proof screws without damaging them, allowing the reuse of the same tamper-proof screws. The first of this type screw to appear was the three-bladed type. Its configuration resembles a Y or Mercedes symbol. The tool we have for this type of screw is our blankety-blank screwdriver. Next, we encountered the Phillips head type with a pin in the center, which prohibits a standard screwdriver from seating properly. Our nipple Phillips screwdriver has a tiny hole drilled into the tip, which allows this tool to fit properly. The third type of screw resembles a rivet, but is technically called a drive screw. It is a cross between a nail and a screw and is inserted by pushing it in. The tool we have designed for its extraction is called the rivet router kit. Since this type of screw is inserted with pressure, we decided the easiest way to remove it would be with pressure applied to the other end, thereby pushing it out. To accomplish this, we must first locate the tip of the screw from the other side. This is done using the template provided in the kit. By positioning it over the label side of the cassette like so, we use the hand drill provided and a hammer. Support the cassette and wrap sharply. You may want to hold the punch with a pair of pliers to avoid hitting your hand. The drive screw will come out easily and may be reapplied by tapping back into place using the punch. A fourth type of screw, the three-bladed one-way screw, is also being used. It can be described as resembling a cloverleaf or a propeller. Its edges are sloped and cause tools to lift out of position. Our declover is designed to extract this type of screw, which may be reinserted with our blankety-blank screwdriver. The declover has sharp blades which bite into the head of the screw and allow extraction. Be sure to maintain downward pressure while using this tool. Once the tip has found its grip, pressure must be maintained.
The following products have been developed since the original production of this tape. Each one is designed to make it easier for you to repair and maintain your video and now audio tapes. Please watch. There is another one-way security screw sometimes found in videotapes. It has 4 flares instead of 3. The 4-tip declover will remove it, once again by biting into the head of the screw while downward pressure is maintained. The last type of security screw has a recessed triangle in the head of it. It is not widely used, but occasionally shows up in foreign and adult videotapes. Our delta tip screwdriver will remove it easily. It is possible for you to help protect your entire inventory by replacing one screw in each tape with a Multivideo security screw. Our screws are designed to be removed with a tool made specifically for that purpose. The removal tool is available only with the purchase of 1,000 screws, and each purchase of 1,000 screws includes a tool. One of our newest products, which has become the new standard for videotape repair tools, is the workstation. Thousands of video stores all over the world are using and swearing by this new device. Twists in videotape are a fairly common problem. On screen, it may appear as if a tape has been erased, but actually, the tape is flipped over backwards, and the wrong side of the tape is going over the video heads. We haven't figured out what causes the tape to flip. We only know it's a pain when it does. That is why Multivideo designed the patented Workstation Video Tape Fixer. Made of durable, high-quality materials, multi-ply birch plywood, aircraft-grade aluminum, and nylon rollers, the workstation weighs 4 pounds and is built to last. To repair a twisted tape, first rewind it in a VCR, then play it until the picture goes to static. Then you'll know you're right at the first twist. Rewind it slightly to position the tape prior to the twist. Remove it from the VCR, open the flap and insert it into the groove of the workstation. At this point, although the flap is open, the tape itself cannot be moved. Position the metal plate over the guide post, making sure the spindles seat properly into the reels. This releases the tape brake, which allows you to pull out the tape and wrap it around the posts. Insert the handle into the spindle on the left and turn it in a counterclockwise direction, visually inspecting the tape for twists as you advance it. When the twist is found, correct it by hand and continue to advance the tape until you get to the other twist, and correct it in the same way. An optional drill bit in the same configuration as the handle is available. When used with a cordless screwdriver, it speeds up the job considerably. The handle and the drill bit can be used in either spindle. The splicing block that was demonstrated earlier in this tape is the type that is attached to the workstation. 30 pre-cut splices are also included. It is possible to easily load your own blank tapes and custom links using 2 workstations. You can even salvage a pre-recorded tape from a warped, heat-damaged cassette. Multivideo carries the empty tape shells and clear leader tape required for the job. The workstation carries a 30-day satisfaction guarantee or your money back. Another procedure demonstrated earlier in this tape, replacing the clip that attaches the leader tape to the reel, can be done much faster, easier, and safer by using the Multivideo clip clopper. It is designed to hold the tape reels upright, leaving your hands free to stick the clip to the adhesive tape and to apply the full amount of pressure required to reseat the clip. The clip clopper is sold with a 30-day satisfaction guarantee. In addition to the one you're watching, Multivideo carries several other instructional videotapes. VCR Cleaning, designed with the layman in mind, is a 30-minute tape that guides you step by step through every phase of the cleaning process. Minor VCR Repair Volume 1 is a 45-minute tape that covers belt replacement, lubrication, idler replacement, and sensor lamps in 5 different VHS models. Minor VCR Repair Volume 2, also 45 minutes, delves a little deeper into some common VCR problems and shows the most likely solution to correcting them. Replacement of tape-in sensors, cassette loading motors, reel table sensors, and RF modulators is covered. Audio tapes seem to be even more prone to twists and tangles than videotapes are. For that reason, Multivideo designed the patented audio tape fixer. It holds the audio tape securely, leaving your hands free to advance the tape either manually or with the help of a cordless screwdriver while straightening out the twists. A splicing block and a sheet of pre-cut splices are included for making repairs to the tape. The audio tape fixer holds 2 cassettes at once, enabling you to transfer the tape from one cassette to the other if the need arises.
For more information on the availability of the tools and splicing supplies seen in this program, please call us or write to Multivideo, Post Office Box 35444, Charlotte, North Carolina 28235. Thank you for watching, and we hope you'll find this information useful. Once the tip is found, its grip pressure must be maintained so it will not slip. People are going to notice that, I can guarantee it.
Stand by.
In over to order Q.
How close to the shop do you want?
Do it in slow motion, Don.
Do it with the-
slow motion.
Good. Should have had like lots of beer cans and stuff in there.
Pizza box.